Thank you. Thank you. Starting as habit and becoming custom, it became the consistent intention of the Knights of the Round Table to gather whenever they could, to meet one another once again and exchange stories of the adventures they had just been on, the encounters they had had, to greet one another and share fellowship as we are sharing fellowship. And King Arthur would quite often not begin the feast until these stories were told, the gathering was there, and if they were particularly fortunate, an adventure might happen to take place right at that feast. So it was on a New Year's Day that such an adventure befell Sir Gawain. They had gathered and barely exchanged greetings when there was a loud sound of hoofbeats on the stone outside the door, and the doors flew open, and into the midst of the Knights of the Round Table and King Arthur rode a fairly large man, almost as tall as a giant, on a sturdy, fine, strong, muscular-looking horse. Now, the most remarkable thing about this near giant of a man and the horse is that they were all in green. And I don't mean that merely his armor or the horse's samite were green. Their flesh was green. His hair was green, his beard was green, his hands were green, and the horse, from ear to foot and nose to tail, was all green. This Green Knight dismounted and said, "Well, if this be the well-reputed, famous court of King Arthur, and you stripling lads, I see, be the Knights of the Round Table, I have come to offer you a challenge." I would like to exchange a blow with you. You see, I have no shield or weapon. I only have this axe. I would like to exchange a blow with this axe with you. I will submit myself first, and one of you knights can chop off my head. Then, if I survive that, I will 1 year from now meet you and chop off your head, if I can do that. Well, everyone was so stunned by the appearance and by this challenge that they didn't say anything for a while. "Ah ha ha!" said the Green Knight. "Just as I thought. The well-touted reputation. You're nothing but a bunch of cowards." At which King Arthur himself said, "I will meet your challenge." Sir Gawain got up. "No, no, no, my lord. Please let me answer this braggart." And so it was said. And the Green Knight, as he said he would, exposed himself first, lifting his hair, making his neck bare, bowed before Sir Gawain, who now had the knight's axe, and lifted it, and with all his might brought the axe down on the neck of the Green Knight. Brought it down so hard that it cut right through the neck, and the Green Knight's head rolled across the floor. Imagine the astonishment of all the knights gathered there and the ladies who were there for the feast as well, when that Green Knight neither faltered nor fell. Rather, the decapitated form got up on its feet, picked up the severed head, held it by the hair. I am the knight, the Green Knight of the Green Chapel, it said. And I will meet you, Sir Gawain, 1 year from now in Wales, near the Redwood woods. You will have no trouble finding me. Everyone there knows who I am. So if you fail to show yourself 1 year from now, I will know you're a coward. At this, the decapitated form mounted the horse, still holding the head by the hair, and departed. Well, the year passed quickly, as years often do, but especially quickly will move a year when you're looking ahead towards something you kind of dread. That makes time move even more quickly. So there it was. Spring had turned to summer, summer to fall, and fall had brought another winter. So Gawain mounted his horse Gringolet and took off for Wales to find the Redwood woods. He rode all day. There was snow all about because it was Michaelmas time. And he was cold. And on Christmas Eve, he prayed, please let me find some hospitality soon, for this cold is unbearable. He no sooner prayed than the horse exited from the woods, and there in the midst of a beautiful parkland was a noble castle, fit for any lord. And Gawain was received well at the castle, first by the servant, then by the lord and lady of the castle themselves. Now the lord of the castle was a jovial, friendly, handsome, red-haired man. Red hair, red beard. And his wife, the lady of the castle, was as fine of feature and figure as Guinevere, Queen Guinevere herself. He told them what his mission was, that he wanted to find this green chapel, but he had no idea where it was. And the red-haired lord said, oh, you're in luck. I know where it is, and it's no more than a 2 hours ride. Horses ride from here. Why don't you stay with us until New Year's Day, which is when you say you have your appointment, and I will send a man to show you the way. Well, Gawain was tired. He was grateful for the hospitality. And he bathed and rested and ate well for a couple of days. And one evening, the three of them, the Lord, his lady, and Gawain, were talking. And the Lord said, I have a proposal to make. I have an idea. Tomorrow I'm going hunting. I will hunt some deer. And when I come back, I will give all the deer, the venison that I have caught and killed, I will give it to you, my guest. And all I ask of you, he said to Gawain, is that you share with me anything that you managed to get here at the castle during the day. It was agreed upon. The next morning, the Lord did leave very, very early. Gawain, being very, very tired, slept late. He did not awaken until the lady of the castle entered his room and sat on the edge of his bed. When he opened his eyes, she said to him, I'm afraid you're not a very gracious knight, Sir Gawain, for you have not yet told me how pretty I am. Nor have you accounted anything of yourself. Well, said Sir Gawain, as for your beauty, my poor powers of expression and description could hardly do it justice. Do you have a gift for me? She asked. No, he said, I have traveled light. I have nothing to give. And she said, well, then take this from me. And she kissed him. That evening, the Lord returned. And indeed, he had killed quite a bit of deer. So he presented the venison as he had promised to his guest. And what did you get while I was gone? He asked. Gawain got up, put his arms around his host, the red-haired lord, and kissed him once. And from which of the many women in my castle did you receive that gift? The man asked. Aha! Said Gawain. That was not part of our bargain. And on that, my lips are sealed. Fair enough. Fair enough, said the host. Let's have the same challenge and conditions tomorrow. And so it was. The Lord went off hunting boar this day. And the lady came to Gawain's room, sat on the bed, wakened him. And this time, she gave him 2 kisses. When the Lord came back in the evening, he shared the boar, gave it all, actually, to Gawain. And what did you receive today? And Gawain went forward, put his arms around him, and kissed him twice. They agreed that the same conditions should prevail for the next day. And so it happened. The lady came into the room. And she said, well, you have not been very forthcoming. You must have another woman that you prefer to me back in Camelot. And he said, no. Well, then you must be cold by nature. No, he said, I'm not. It's just that your Lord is a gracious man. It would not be right for me to dally with you any more than we have, because my husband wouldn't know, she said, and thereby would lose nothing, and I would always have the memory of having lain in the arms of Sir Gawain. My oath and honor as a knight does not permit it. All right then, she said. And she gave him 3 kisses. And she said, since you have no gift for me, I'll give another gift to you. And she lifted up her petticoat, or her robe, dressing gown, whatever the hell she was wearing. She lifted it up, and she tore off a bit of green lace from her undergarment. And she offered it to Gawain. Gawain said, no, I couldn't possibly take that. That's far too intimate. And she said, well, I'm offering it to you. I don't think you know the property of this. Whoever wears this lace, and you could put it under your outside garment, no one will know you have it. No harm, either from an enemy or a friend, can come to that person as long as he has this lace on him. Well, this was now New Year's Eve. The next day, Gawain was to meet the Green Knight at the Green Chapel. I don't know about you, but I'm willing to forgive him for accepting the lace, given the fear that was in him. Imagine any of us on an evening before we were to bow our head before this Green Knight. So I forgive him. The Lord came back that evening, And he had caught only a single fox, but he gave that skin of the fox to Gawain. And what did you get, my lord? And Gawain gave him the 3 kisses. Did you receive nothing more? Asked the host. And Gawain said deceptively, no, that is all I received. The next day was New Year's, and as arranged, the red-haired lord had provided a servant guide to take Gawain to the Green Chapel. And it was, as he had predicted, about 2 hours' ride. And the servant said, I would not go into that Green Chapel if I were you, because other people have done it, and none of them have ever come back. But Gawain was bent on keeping his word, so the servant left him there. Gawain could hear the sound of the axe being sharpened inside the Green Chapel. And soon enough, the Green Knight emerged as fearsome looking and large as he had been a year before. He emerged with the sharpened axe. Well, now it is my turn to give you a blow, said the Green Knight, his head now back on the formerly decapitated body. My turn to give you a blow, and I'm afraid nobody will come to save you or interrupt because, frankly, there isn't anyone around. So, you have kept your word. I honor you for that. Gawain bent down, exposed his neck, but fear was in him, so he was trembling. The Green Knight lifted his things, and he brought it down, but he stopped it right before, and he said, "Hey, I didn't tremble when I bowed before you last year." "All right," said Gawain, "strike, and I won't tremble." So the Green Knight lifted his axe and brought it down sharply, but he stopped right before it. He said, I think I have to wet this axe one more time. Gawain said, "Do whatever you need to do, but get it over with. Don't toy with me." The Green Knight lifted the axe, brought it down with all his might, and this time he did not stop it, but he turned it aside, so he only nicked Gawain's neck, enough to draw a little bit of blood, maybe leave a scarf later, but not enough to do any real harm. Gawain jumped to his feet. "All right, that's it. You've had your blow. If you try to strike me again, I will defend myself to the utmost." "No need," said the Green Knight. "You're a man of your word. I honor that. You have redeemed the reputation of the Round Table for valor. Furthermore, you were honest in returning to me the kisses that my wife gave you." "Your wife?" said Gawain. "Yes," said the Green Knight. "I and that red-haired host are one and the same." "What is your name then?" said Gawain. "You who could still operate with your head cut off, and you're so strong, you seem to know everything, and you could be a red-haired knight and a red-haired lord and a Green Knight as well. What is your name?" "I am Sir Bernlac, and I am a knight of the lake, a lord of the lake, and Nynaeve, the lady of the lake, has granted me with certain powers. And it was that I was able to be this and the red-haired host. You have done well." They embraced, and Gawain got on his horse Gringolet and rode off back towards Camelot. "By the way," shouted the Green Knight, "you may keep that piece of green lace you have under your garments. You have earned it." And so the descendants of Gawain, it was said, would wear a bit of green lace around their arms whenever they entered contests for a long time after. And they were all known as the Knights of the Green Garter.
Oh.